Suman Agarwal is an image evangelist, author, TEDx speaker, and the president of the Image Management Professionals Association, IMPA. She pioneered the concept of introducing image management in India in 2009. She is the co founder and director of the Image Consulting Business Institute, ICBI, and holds a Master's Award in Image Management Consulting from the Federation of Image Professionals International, United Kingdom. She is the most senior image consultant in the Indian subcontinent. Suman Ma'am has contributed significantly to the successful growth of the image consulting industry in India. With over 3,500 alumni consultants and over 10 lakh lives touched through image consulting services over a decade, she was associated with Jet Airways for 8 years, handling the challenging role of looking after the grooming and recruitment of the Inflight department. She was also the face of the airline in 2003. Suman Ma'am is an animal activist and she strongly supports and promotes animal welfare. She is also the co-author of the book First Impressions, Lasting Impressions, which talks about how projecting a powerful image in the first few seconds can change your entire life. A widely traveled and well-experienced professional, Suman Ma'am embodies beauty, charm, and grace that she professionally upholds. Good evening, Suman Ma'am. How are you doing?
Very well. I'm doing great, as always.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine, Manya.
So I think I'll just jump right in with the first question. Could you please explain what you do in your own words?
Okay, so long story short, I am an image consultant. I'm a master image consultant, so which also makes me the most senior image consultant in the Indian subcontinent. That's my title, but I am an entrepreneur. So I have an institution called Image Consulting Business Institute. Also, to let you know that I pioneered the concept of image management in India in 2009. And when we started ICBI, that is Image Consulting Business Institute, we had this vision to, make people a better version of themselves. Also make them self-employed professionals, entrepreneurs, somebody who can be absolutely independent in terms of, doing something of their own. So that they have flexibility, they also have an identity, and they can scale up their business to, a level which they can't even imagine. Because if you work hard and if you scale your business, I mean, there is no looking back. So this is what I do. So professionally now, I'm an entrepreneur.
So as an image consultant, how important or I would say how useful are these skills that you would learn? How integral would they be to career or to life or anything?
Image consulting is a need, I would say, is the need of the hour. Okay, and when we talk about image consulting, it's not just about using this skill for somebody who's in a job, or somebody who's looking for a job, but it's a life skill.
Okay.
And when we say life skill, there are 4 very important skills. One is your domain skill, the other is appearance, then behavior and communication.
Okay.
And your appearance also impacts your behavior and your communication.
Okay.
So it is all interlinked. And when we talk about these skills are important not just for a job or in an organization if you're already an existing professional, but it is also a very important, these skills are very, very important for your personal, professional, and social life. The way you carry yourself, the way you look, the way you present yourself, the way you behave with people.
Yeah. Okay.
And how you communicate with people.
So all of that is influenced. Okay.
Yes, it's a combination, and this is what we actually train people on, teach people on, educate people on. as a part of image consulting and soft skills training.
Okay. So I wanted to go back to something you had mentioned. So you are the most senior in your field, especially having pioneered the term and this entire thing. I wanted to ask you, of course, that must have been a journey with lots of ups and downs. So I wanted to ask you one high and one low that you think impacted either yourself or the thoughts that you have or the future that you wanted to make.
So one high was that, yes, I mean, the minute I got this title, I was on a different level altogether, different platform
Yes.
in terms of, I
Yeah.
mean, getting that kind of, portfolio.
Hmm.
So, and especially, Manya, to be very candid, I'm a college dropout and I have no embarrassment, or I don't have any consciousness about the fact that I have not done a graduation, I don't have a graduation degree. But when it comes to, so the most important thing that I've learned in my life is that whether you have the that tag of being qualified or not qualified, but whatever you do in life, you have to do it with your heart and soul.
Okay.
So be it my profession, be it my career, wherever I have worked or whatever responsibilities I have taken, I have done it completely from my heart and soul. You have to be the best in what you do.
Okay.
So that was a high which I got, that, I mean, yes, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve, because at that point of time when I got this title, I mean, nobody knew what image management was in India. And of course, the lows were that that also came with a disadvantage, that when you have a first mover advantage, that you are bringing something new, nobody else knows about it. So when nobody else knows about it, you can understand that how challenging it is to explain people what image management is.
Yes.
And when we used to do our presentations, we used to explain people, we used to do seminars. After the seminar, people used to say, "Aapka photo studio kahan hai?" So image, they always used to correlate with, imaging center or photo studio and things like that. So after the whole process of presentation, this is what we used to hear, and it used to really bug us so much that, I mean, we've explained you everything and you are still back to square one.
Yeah.
And at that point of time, we had to personally sit with every individual. By and large, like 40-45% of people used to just go blank because they had never heard what image consulting was.
Yeah.
So you can understand the frustration and the challenge that we used to face at that point of time, which is not there anymore. I mean, over a period of last many years, people have understand and realized the importance of image management and soft skills. But yes, I mean, everything came with the pluses and minuses, and that was the disadvantage that we experienced.
So, growing up, did you think that you would ever go into this kind of field? Were you always interested in design and soft
Honestly,
skills?
I'll be very honest. During my growing up days, I was totally blank. I had no idea what will I do in life, because I had no direction. I
Hmm.
had no sense of ambition. I was just growing. I mean, in my size and in my age, I was growing. But then I always knew that I would get into something which will be very creative,
Oh,
because I have a very great sense of imagination.
okay.
What will that be? I mean, it just happened that I stumbled upon image consulting. I knew, because I was in a profession, I worked as a corporate professional for almost 14 years.
Yeah.
I knew that if I will get into something, it will be something to do with skilling.
Okay.
But what will that be? I did not have the term in my mind. So it just so happened that I stumbled upon image consulting through a book which used to teach people how to become an image consultant. And there I had read Judith's name.
Okay.
And this is where I got in touch with her, and rest is history.
Okay. So, um, obviously something that you stumbled upon by chance, but I wanted to ask you, maybe when you were learning about image consulting for the first time, what were your thoughts in the initial stage of learning about it? Like, did you ever kind of dismiss it as something that may not actually be able to help you, or was it something that you firmly believed in from the very beginning of hearing about it?
So honestly, so when I had left my job, from Jet Airways, I was in the recruitment department, grooming and recruitment department, and I had realized the fact that people who have the technical skills, they seriously lack soft skills.
Okay.
And on the basis of that, there were so many rejections. And then I used to always feel in my head that how is it that I can, be a catalyst who can help these two skills marry each other. So it was always there in my mind, but then it just came very, I would say it just happened by chance that when I got the information about image and image consulting, of course, my first impression was not very great because everything about image consulting was about color analysis and style analysis. The only insight that I got about this industry was when I read about Judith Raspan and when I interacted with Judith Raspan. So, my first impression about image management was that it looks interesting, but it has got a lot to do with probably style and these kind of things. But I was still very inclined to get into a lot of details, and that is why I had connected with almost like 8 9 topmost image consultants, but the information that I got out of them was very very superficial.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, I mean, my impression about image was that it's all about color and style and that's it, nothing else. But I got a lot of detail on the psychological aspects of image consulting and image management only when I got in touch with Judith. And this is where I started believing in the concept of image management. And I truly respected the industry so much
Yeah.
that within 1 week, I decided to fly to Utah, Salt Lake City, and be there with Judith for another week, me and my husband Rakesh. And then, of course, we came back with her signing on the dotted line where she became our curriculum partner.
So it all happened so quickly.
Yes. It happened. It did not happen quickly because I was interacting with her over emails for a long time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there was a lot of back and forth email, conversation.
Mm.
And then after that, I mean, I almost thought that she is, I mean, of course, I actually thought that she is the right person who will fit the bill when it comes to marrying, technical skills and the skills which are required, which are image management skills, which is the need of the hour. At that point of time, I actually thought that this is what we need in India. And in India, still, there is so much of need when it comes to the combination of image and soft skills. We still have a lot to do.
Yeah. Of course, there's a long way to go. I just,
Yes.
I was wondering if you could maybe expand on the psychology of image management because that's extremely interesting to me. So,
So a lot of people have this misconception that image management is all about fashion, clothing and style and all those kind of things. But there is a lot of psychological implication to the kind of things that we do. How does certain color impact your mind? How do clothing impact your mind? What is it? How do you behave in a certain way when you wear a certain outfit?
yeah.
So when people say that clothes don't matter,
Hmm.
because I see a lot of people, becoming very defensive about the fact that they always get a feeling that we are trying to guide them about what to wear. And the response that we get in return is that clothes don't matter. And my question to them is that when was the last time you went out without clothes?
Yeah, of course.
If clothes don't matter to you, then why are you wearing clothes in the first place? You can survive without food for 2 days, but can you survive without clothes for even 1 hour? So if something is your second skin,
Yeah.
and if it has a psychological implication in the sense that if you wear certain kind of outfit and you go to a certain if you go in a public place, like, or for an occasion for that matter, so if you're wearing a denim and a t-shirt and you get into a wedding, how does a person feel? What is the mindset? What is it that you feel when you enter a wedding where everybody else is traditionally dressed and you are wearing your jeans and t-shirt? Immediately, your confidence level will just go for a toss.
Yeah.
And suddenly the first reaction will be, oops, I'm not looking the part.
Okay.
And the minute that happens, you will hide behind trees and bushes, or you will cut yourself off from other people.
Yeah. And that impacts
And you
behavior
will,
and social
I mean,
skills.
at that point of time, you will just try to break the eye contact with people. You will suddenly feel that you've become an introvert. And looking at
Yeah.
your response, people also act and behave the way you are acting and behaving, and they react in the similar manner because they feel that you have superiority complex, whereas you have inferiority complex.
Okay. Okay.
And then they react and respond in similar manner because they feel that you are acting arrogant.
Yeah.
Majority of the time when people are not interacting, or they are behaving in an introvert manner, it is largely because they have body image or clothing related issues or self image issues.
Okay.
But inferiority complex comes across as superiority complex. And this is where people misunderstand the other person, and they feel that this person is having an attitude problem or this person is arrogant without getting into too many details.
Okay.
And
Yes.
this is where we treat the mindset. We work on the mindset, we work on the appearance, we work on the behavior and the communication, and we give a holistic solution in the form of image consulting.
Okay. Yeah. So, is there any client that maybe you remember? Of course, that's if you can share. Is there any client that you maybe can remember where you were like, okay, this is just an instance that might stay in your mind? Like any one client that immediately pops out in your head when I'm asking for a memorable um, client.
Client whose image consulting I have done. So when I was doing my course with Judith, when I did my program, and immediately when I came back, and I had to do this one-on-one consulting for one of my neighbors,
Okay.
because she had come to me for help,
Yeah.
and she wanted that, and she was a homemaker.
Okay.
So she had come and she had told me that, I have a lot of confidence issues. And similarly, the same situation also happened with some consultant, and I had guided her in the same manner. So I had told this lady, she had told me that, I have a lot of confidence issues, and I have a lot of problems with my husband. I have relationship issues
Yeah.
because he always, he doesn't take me out anywhere. He feels very embarrassed with me being around, and that is why for any social gathering he doesn't take me with him, and I don't accompany him, and I'm always at home, and I feel that I have been discredited by my husband because he doesn't give me any kind of importance. So I had to actually work on her appearance, because if you don't look the part, it's not just about a corporate wear or a corporate culture where you need to look the part. You have to look the part in every role that you play. Whether you are a wife or a mother or a sister or a daughter, whether you are a corporate professional or a business owner, you have to dress in a certain manner. If you don't look the part, the other person will not give you that credit. He will not value you the way he can value you or the way she can value you. So if you're devalued, how do you first, look and feel credible? The first thing is that you have to look uh, the part as per your roles, goals, occasions, and activities.
Okay.
And then other things matter, that what are your other responsibilities and things like that. Of course, when in a working environment, your skill sets are very important, but to promote those skill sets, the most important thing is that how do you look along with those skill sets. So if you are a manager, you need to look like a manager. You may have the required skill sets, but if you look like a supervisor and you are a manager at the same time, people are confused.
Yeah.
So if you are a manager, you have the required skill sets, you have to give it some kind of a thrust to look like who you are.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is where image management plays a very important role to align your image 360 degrees.
Okay. So, of course, with all of this knowledge that you have, I wanted to ask you what changes you felt or saw in yourself when you learned. Did you feel yourself consciously making changes to fit maybe what you've learned, to fit the new knowledge that you've learned? Or was it something that just came naturally?
Honestly, even though I came with a jet background, I initially thought that I know it all, like how other people also think. But honestly, I had a lot of takeaway from this program. I mean, it was like a completely insightful and eye-opening experience. So I was also a complete, shopaholic,
Hmm.
and not very mindful about what I was buying. So whatever I would like, I would purchase without realizing the fact that does that specific outfit or anything that I buy, is it as per my personal style? So those things were very important. I became very mindful about what I wear, what I buy, what works for me, what doesn't work for me, what how do people make mistakes, in their life. It's not just about clothes, it's also about the interiors of your house.
Yeah.
Do they match your personal style, or they have just been bought because सेल पे चल रहा था, या ये कलर ठीक था, या ये दीवार का कलर बहुत ट्रेंडी है. These things are not as important as what really works for you in your situation, as per the authenticity that you want to project. So eventually, if you have to live with something, if you have to live with your clothes, if you have to live with the interiors, they have to be as per what works for you.
Yeah.
Not because it is sasta or it is mehenga or it is like this and it is like that. It doesn't go like that for a very long time. And eventually, what will happen? Then you will discard these things.
Yeah.
So if you want to have any long-term relationship with your clothes, with your things that you buy, with your house, with your furniture, with your paintings, then to maintain that long-term relationship, you have to ensure that they are as per your, as per your taste, as per your style. It has to align with the mindset.
Okay.
That's very important. And most people let me tell you, most people are not aware of what works for them, what doesn't work for them, why certain things don't work for them, which is very important. The whys of your life are very important.
Of course.
So this is what we educate people on.
Yeah, speaking of the fashion and the design industry, actually, I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on maybe certain fashion trends, because you've obviously seen a lot of them come and go, right? So I wanted to ask maybe what you thought of the future of fashion or any certain things that you find cropping up again and again, like anything that you think of.
So I can first of all think of a quote that fashion fades and style remains.
Okay.
So fashion doesn't, so I have nothing against fashion.
Yeah.
Only what one needs to remember, of course, I also follow fashion to a very, not to a large extent, but to some extent.
Hmm.
But you also need to be sensible and mindful when it comes to fashion.
Okay.
Does this fashion work for you? Is it going to be a sustainable fashion? Will it just come and go? So you have to be very watchful and very mindful about certain things.
Okay.
Whereas when it comes to style, style is permanent.
Yeah.
So fashion just fades and style remains. So your style is what you live with all your life. Fashion is something which will just come, go, and today's fashion is changing immediately. I mean, with the blink of an eye, fashion just changes.
Yeah.
So is it that everything that comes in fashion works for you? No. I don't think that I have been so fashionable that I actually buy everything that is in fashion.
Yeah.
Not at all. So you have to also be mindful of the fact that how are you accepting and how are you educating people about fashion? Is it more
Yes.
important to follow fashion or to live with the style that really complements you and enhances your personality at a larger scale?
Makes sense. I just wanted to bring it back again because I just suddenly thought of something. When you had mentioned how the knowledge impacted you, I was wondering if you actually saw a change in other people as well, like in other people's behavior once you started incorporating the knowledge into your own fashion sense, into your own image. Was there a shift that you saw in people's behaviors when interacting with you?
When I changed myself,
Yeah, when you were able to incorporate the knowledge and you were able to present yourself with the image that you wanted to, did you see other people shift in the behavior that they presented with?
of course, to a great extent. So when I became knowledgeable, the first thing that happened to me was that I became super confident about myself.
Okay.
So I always had a lot of self doubt, and I always used to feel that am I doing the right thing? That kind of an approach and those expressions on the face. So I know that I have done a lot of blunders when it comes to uh, image management blunders, fashion blunders.
Yes.
I have not been sensible when it comes to buying the right kind of things for my style, my body shape, and things like that. But when I gathered the education of image,
Yeah.
and when I was told that this is what you are, this is who you are, this is what works for you, this is what doesn't work for you. I mean, I was one person who used to, I'll just give you one example. So when I went to US, when I went to meet Judith, I told her very clearly that, business suits are something which I really don't like. I don't like wearing business suits. Although I want to,
Hmm.
but I can't because I don't like them. So she said, okay, just wait for some time, wait for this training to, start. And, when you will get into it, I'll find out why is it that you don't like certain things. So when she did my evaluation,
Yeah.
So there is something called personal style evaluation. I'm sure you must be aware of it. So when she went through this evaluation process, she told me that I have a combination personal style, a combination of being a classic and a romantic personal style.
Okay.
So I don't like anything which is too firm
Yeah.
on my body, because I have a romantic side to me also.
Yeah.
I have little more romantic side and less classic side.
Okay.
So when I wear a jacket, the lapels of the jacket are too firm.
Okay.
I don't like those pinstripe suits. I don't like those correct feeling, when I wear those shoulder pads and things like that, because they don't project the real me.
Yeah.
And if they don't project the real me, I'm not comfortable.
Of course.
So she took me to a shop and she bought me a very soft, slinky suit,
Hmm.
which did not have any lining, which did not have lapel. It was a very pliable suit.
Yeah.
That suit lived with me for 10 years. 10 years. I mean, nothing else lasted ever for 10 years, but this suit lasted me for 10 years, and I used to literally live in them.
Yeah.
And then she asked me that, but you said that you don't wear suits. I said, no, but this is the kind of suit which I really feel very comfortable in.
Okay.
So this is what I'm, trying to tell you, that when you know what works for you,
Yeah.
I mean, you will literally live in them. You feel so comfortable about yourself.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just talking about clothing, but even otherwise in life,
Hmm.
when you know the right answers in your life, you feel so comfortable. So it's not just about appearance, it's also about your life situation.
Okay.
You get the right answers and you're absolutely happy, and you feel holistic. You feel absolutely comfortable about your surroundings, your life, you're happy.
Yeah.
So this is the key to happiness.
Amazing advice that you've given. And I just wanted to ask you again that, of course, I think we can tell that Miss Judith is a big role model for you. And I wanted to
Absolutely.
ask, is there any other role models that you had, like growing up in your life, that you saw and were like, this is
During my
what...
growing up years, my role model was my principal.
Oh, okay.
And I shared a very, very candid relationship with my principal for a change. And he was a very big mentor in my life, because I always used to indulge in doing all the wrong things.
Okay.
So I was not the kind who would study,
Yeah.
but I was always the best dancer in the school. So I was always in dramatics,
Yeah.
dance, sports,
Hmm.
and he would always promote me, because I think he was experienced. He knew that I'm not meant for academics.
Yeah.
That's not my cup of tea. I mean, I would never ever get into traditional careers. And I think people who are in the education field, they know the pulse of every student.
Yeah.
So he would always encourage me to play badminton. He used to play badminton with me after school with all other students as well. He would push me to get into sports. I was always good in sports. He was the one who would actually encourage me, and he would actually pull me out of the class, tell my teachers that, tell her that she has to be in the dramatics this year. And, every time there was Christmas, I was always there in the carols, play, singing the carols and things like that. So I was there everywhere. It's just that I was not meant for academics. So he knew that what is it that I really feel very charged with.
Yeah.
And he would always be there sitting, clapping for me when I was on the stage. So he was like my father. My father was always very against of all these things. And he was like my father, sitting, in the audience, clapping for me, applauding. So I used to always feel very, very good about myself, because he was always standing by me.
Yeah. And I think you've already given like a lot of advice during the whole interview, but I wanted to ask, is there any other advice that you would like to give aspiring teens who are trying to find motivation, or maybe it's just something that either younger you would have liked to hear at the time? Is there, and do you have any words of wisdom?
I don't want to give an advice like any other person that, you have to be sincere with what you are doing and things like that. But I would like to say that don't think that you are so let me put it across in a very different manner, that your a lot of people set standards for their children on the basis of their academics. That if you are good with academics, you are a good child. So don't think like that. Always think that what is it that you're good with.
Okay.
So identify your area of expertise when you are, in your growing stage. Don't go by the rule book that you have to be a very good student, because your qualification, your academic qualification will not define you.
Okay.
But it is your personality, it is your way you come across in terms of how confident you are. What are you good at? You have to be good at something. You can't say that you are good for nothing. So if you're not good with academics, what is it that you're good at? You have to identify. So I was always good with sports, with dramatics, with dancing, and all these extracurricular activities were my strength. And I was very clear that I am not getting into any traditional career. So my first job lasted only for 2 days, because I had to get up at 7:30 in the morning and report. So it was not me. It was not me. And that was a school supervisor job. Can you imagine me doing a school supervisor job?
Okay.
So in 2 days, I resigned. I said, I can't wake up so early and report. I mean, are you guys mad? First of all, that was a big problem with me. And then when I got into Jet, that was my kind of work. And that is why I used to wake up even at 4 o'clock. And go and report. So it has to, there has to be a bulb which has to light inside. Find that bulb. Find that light. What excites you the most? What is it that you're very good at naturally? And pursue that as a career.
Okay.
You don't really need to become a doctor, engineer, chartered accountant, and all those kind of things. But what is it that you're good at? Because eventually you will have to do something in life, right? So find that light, that bulb inside you. And once that bulb lights, you've made it.
Thank you so much for being here. It's honestly an honor to have you. And I'm sure everyone will obviously be very motivated, because you built an extremely impressive resume and it's amazing work that you're doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Manya. And I really enjoyed having a conversation with you. Thank you.